Welcome to Radar Cop Podcast. I am your host, Al Martinez, also known as Alpha Mike. You are listening to episode 333, Safe, Clear, Empty, and Holster. Today we're going to talk about a self-protection firearms drill that is definitely going to benefit you whether you're a novice, intermediate, or advanced. Training is paramount for your self-protection. But more on that in a minute as we dive down the latest in the news. As you know, and I know, America is back. You're excited? I'm excited. 45, also known as 47, has taken the helm and he's grabbed the bull by the horns. Executive orders are flying off the desk. Nominations are coming in as fast as humanly possible. Immigrants, illegal migrants, or aliens, am I allowed to say that? I think I am, are being removed from the country one at a time, and we're into the thousands already. Recently, Vice President J.D. Vance did an interview, and I believe with CBS, and the famous Martha, the interviewer, asked him a stupid question: why are the price of eggs so high? And Vice President Vance said, Martha, President Trump's only been the president for 5 days. That's right, the Democratic Party is trying to flip the script. They act like you haven't been paying attention, that you and I both believe that the price of eggs rapidly increased within the last 4 or 5 days. That's right, Democrats never depressed. The BS is overwhelming, and the mainstream Democratic media is cranking up some more BS, trying to get Americans to swallow. But we are back, baby. America is back. We are happy. We're excited about all the changes. Some countries not wanting to take their citizens back in the immigration are fast and rapidly finding out that 47 is no joke. Tariffs and penalties are swift. Asked the president of Colombia, which within a couple of hours changed his mind on the stance of not taking back his own citizens. The left, the worldwide left, thinks it's a game until daddy takes off his belt and tells you misbehave again and see what happens. America is back. The shiny house, shiny light on the hill. We are back. We are in the right position and we are moving in the right direction. Is it all going to happen overnight? No, it's not. It's going to take time, patience, and money. And it's important that a lot of our American citizens understand that this is not an easy road, but it's one that millions of Americans voted for. Overwhelmingly, President Donald J. Trump, number 47, won the election hands down. It's not even debatable. But it came with a loud and clear message from the voters. We want wokeism to die. We want our country back. We want our military strong. We want these illegals out of this country. We want law and order. We want lower taxes. We want lower gas prices. We want lower inflation. And It'd be nice if the price of eggs can go down too. We want the corrupt swamp to end. We want the political-sized FBI, CIA, and all these other three-letter agencies, their cancer removed. And that's what they're doing. So it's an exciting time if you're an American like I am. And is it going to be a perfect 4 years? I'm hoping, and I'm sure you are too. But there will be some bumps in the road. But I am fully confident in God, and I'm also fully confident in the president that we've elected, that God has allowed us to have back in Donald J. Trump, number 47. So keep the president in prayer and his cabinet, because boy, there's some haters out there, not only in America, in the entire world. And don't forget, it's not the Gulf of Mexico, it's the Gulf of America. You know, North America, Central America, South America, and now the Gulf of America. Okay? Get it? All right. That's for our slower folks, our younger audience that might not understand. So we're back. We're happy. And we are moving towards revolution. The golden age, as we said in the last podcast, is fast approaching. The first obstacle and challenge is going to be the artificial intelligence race against China. And my money's on America. So, looks good. It looks good. All right. Today's episode 333, Safe, Clear, Empty, and Holster. We're going to discuss a simple but very effective drill that you can practice at home. This podcast episode is not being video recorded right now. It's only audio. But in the next couple of days, myself and M&amp, as my trusted camera assistant, I'll demonstrate a lot of what we're talking about here on this episode for a Safe, Clear, Empty, and Holster. Now, we always, if whatever you practice, anything with firearms, you have to have safety. It has to be paramount. So I highly recommend and I encourage that you remove your magazine out of your weapon and you remove the rounds into another room so that there is absolute safety. There are no rounds anywhere near you. And of course, none in the magazine or the weapon itself. So that's important, and we have to always remember that. All right, let's open up our Bibles. We are going to open up to the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, that says, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." And friends, this time in our era that we are living, this country cannot be hidden any longer. And we are sitting high on the world hill. So God is good, and we are gracious enough to accept that there's a higher being than ourselves. If you are looking for gun training in the Tampa Bay area, look no further. RaiderCopTacTAC.com. That's RaiderCopTacTAC.com. There, that's our self-protection company. We teach firearms and self-protection. If you're a beginner in firearms or intermediate and you're looking for some good training, look no further. RaiderCopTacTAC.com. You can contact us on our website, or you can give us a call at 813-942-7400. And you can also hear all our podcasts from number 1 to number 333. That's a lot of listening, folks. Wherever you get your podcast, just type in Raider Cop Podcast and we'll pop up. You can also send us a email if you like at Raider Cop Podcast. That's all one word, Raider Cop Podcast at Proton, PROTON.me, M-E. And we'll accept your nasty emails and file them appropriately. So, what are we talking about today? Safe, clear, empty, and holster. We've got a lot of shows that are going to deal with firearms in February, March. Then we're going to transition to self-protection, which is from awareness to how to defend yourself in an attack and so forth. So we're going to be doing a lot of audio and videoing followed. There will always be a follow-up video. Small, it's going to be less than a couple of minutes, but you can visually see what we were talking about. And when those shorts go out on YouTube and I think Rumble, it's going to be labeled as the episode number. So example, when we do this one, it'll go out as 333, number 333, and safe, clear, empty, and holster. And it'll be, less than 5 minutes, just basically breaking down everything that we're going to be talking about here today. You are listening to Raider Cop Podcast, and we are about to get the short bus rolling. We are going to introduce you to some pretty good and pretty interesting training on episode 333, Safe, Clear, Empty, and Holster. Episode 333, Safe, Clear, Empty, and Holster. I am your host, Alpha Mike, and we're going to be talking about a very simple and easy drill that you can do if you are a firearms owner, whether you're beginning or intermediate or advanced. And training is the most important aspect of firearm ownership. A lot of people think that going to a range is important. Pressing the trigger and shooting rounds down range is the most important element of training. And that's not necessarily true. Of course, you want to go to the range. You want to see your accuracy. You want to practice your skill set at full capacity to see if you're ready for that event that hopefully never comes your way. But training is something that you can do simply in your own home as long as you practice some really important safety tips. Now, if you are into firearms, you know that you always point that weapon towards the direction of something that you want to you would be willing to shoot in case a round would go off. Don't point the weapon towards things that you really, really care about and you don't want to destroy. Make sure your finger's off the trigger. Take out the magazine. remove all rounds from the chamber. Ensure that it is clear by inspecting it visually down the chamber. And you can inspect it with your finger, pinky finger or whatever. Make sure there's nothing there. Then, if it is empty, cycle the weapon forward. And you're going to go ahead and press that trigger. Nothing happened. It is safe. Now, I encouraged you in the beginning of this podcast to take your rounds and everything else and remove it from the room that you're going to be doing your exercise. It's always a good idea. Sometimes you have more than one gun on a desk and you fumble around and you talk and you do this, and accidents do happen. So to avoid that, just get those rounds out of the room and you can continue your training. So the importance, of course, in any drill that you do with firearms is safety. And if you're going to do it outside of range and you're not pointing it down range, that muzzle, you're going to want to make sure that the firearm is safe, clear, and empty. Now, why do we drill? Well, we drill to have muscle memory because firearms shooting is a proficiency. And that means your skill set, you have to make it more sharper, better, stronger, and quicker. As any athlete, whether you're a basketball player, a football player, or a baseball player, there's a lot of drills that have to be done before the game starts. Practice is everything. And getting in the shape for the event. With firearms, you're getting mentally ready and you're getting your brain muscle memory ready. So when you take out that firearm, everything clicks into place as fast as you can do it and as accurate. Now, speed, okay, and accuracy come in slowly. Okay, it won't happen overnight, but you build up to that. So when you do a lot of this training that we're going to talk about today with your holster, it's your carry holster that you're going to have, the holster that you mostly use. Now, me personally, I use different holsters during different times of the year. For example, this recording is in January, and I'm in the Tampa Bay area. So whether here during the January, during the morning time, let's say early on 7 a.m., may drop down to the 30s, 40s, or 50s. Eventually, as this is Florida, it will heat up, maybe up to the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Depending. But I'm going to use, because it's a heavier amount of clothing I'm using, I'm using different types of holsters for this type of weather. And I'm also changing my weapon. My weapon during these types of weather are mostly mid-sized to full-size weapons. I'm not necessarily using little compact pistols. I'm actually going to take advantage of the concealment with the heavier, larger amount of clothing that you use. And so I'm going to be carrying a full-size weapon, or it could be compact as well. Of course, the summer comes in. Now we're in a pair of shorts at times, and June, July, August in Florida is really, really bad. It gets hot. And as you know, you have to dress up for the occasion. So sometimes I might even go to a pocket pistol or the real little small carry guns as well. But I can probably narrow down the holster that I'm going to use to about 2 or 3. Now, remember, some holsters are not the traditional holster that you know. I also have a leather holster. And, a lot of people don't use leather holsters anymore. And it doesn't really have that double or triple retention, but it works. It plays the game, especially in the winter time as well. So you want to take out those holsters that you're going to be using during the course of the year, spread them out. And during your training time, you're going to use the holster for that period of time. Don't use the summer holster in winter, because if the event goes down, your body dynamics will be completely different. But make sure you're using the holster for the time period that it calls for. And when you practice your drill, remember we talked about safety, no bullets or anything like that. The importance of these drills is learning to remove the weapon from the holster and present it on a target. Now, you don't want to just present it to a target like if you're at the range. You also want to present it one-handed opposed to, with two hands on the weapon. You might want to draw it out of the holster and point shooting type of positioning. But whatever you decide to do, you do reps, 10, 15, 20 reps of each position. Now, as you do it slowly at first, start picking up the rhythm, you start getting into it. You're going to present that weapon up to eye level, and you're going to engage whatever target that you have. Remember, your weapon is safe, clear, and empty. There's no rounds, and you're going to press the trigger, right? Then once you press the trigger, cycle the weapon again, if it's a pistol, and go ahead and holster. Okay, now try to get to do these things within one continuous motion. Try not to do it robotic. Weapon out, I bring it up to eye level, I focus, I punch out, I hold the grip, because you're building up accuracy. So you want to do it in one continuous movement, and you want to do it slowly, increasing the speed of what you're doing in the drill. And so you have what I call level 1, and that's just learning to draw. Learning to take the weapon out of the holster. And what's so critical about that, you gotta always try to achieve a good grip, especially around the ducktail or the tang of the weapon, the back part of the weapon, and have a nice, good grip all the way up on that ducktail or the tang. That one grip. See, in a firefight, you got to go with the grip that you did, and if that grip in the beginning isn't as good as you would like it, sometimes you're not allowed to do makeup tests, if you understand what I mean. So level 1, learning to draw, is important, and that starts with that grip coming out of that holster. Level 2, you're going to start building that grip into speed with drawing the weapon out of the holster, not even presenting it, just grabbing it from the handle, and you're going to, nice good grip around the tang or the ducktail, and you're going to take it out of the holster as fast, and clearing the holster as fast as possible. Now remember, build up to the speed slowly. Do it cleanly. Make sure you're not the weapon's not hitting into the holster and getting stuck in the clothing and stuff like that. Also, controlling your clothing. There's a difference between wearing a t-shirt and wearing a dress shirt. Put that as well into your training repertoire. And, learn that your support hand is lifting up these shirts, moving these articles of clothing as your shooting hand is going to get that grip, clear that holster. So we got level 1, learning to draw. Level 2, we're going to start doing speed on that drawer. Okay, clearing the holster, trying to make sure the gun doesn't just, come wiggling out of your hand, bumping into everything in the world. Then we're going to head towards level 3, getting in the fight. And what I mean by that, recently I saw on Instagram in the area I live in, a police academy where they took some photographs of the recruits, the cadets, in firearms. And the instructors, giving them instruction. And this is no take against the instructors that they are doing anything wrong. I don't know the length of time those students have been there. It could have been their first day for all I know. And the importance of an instructor is to see the mistake and then correct it. So instructors don't necessarily have perfect students, have nothing to do. And so their input is slowly placed onto the student for their knowledge. But one of the things I noticed a lot on the Instagram is people are leaning back like, get in the fight. Oh, this is what I tell a lot of people when I'm training them. If I were to go behind you and you unexpectedly had no idea, and I lit off a pretty loud firecracker, like an M80, immediately your brain would tell you, duck. It's a normal human reaction to duck. People will duck the top of their heads. Some people will duck a little lower than others. But the brain takes over and says, oh, that loud noise is not good. We need to duck. And at that point, the brain starts taking over. So knowing that you're going to you're training always for the event. Hopefully it never happens. You never have to take out your weapon to defend yourself or defend someone else's life. But if it does, you have to understand you're about to get into a firefight. So you got to get in the fight. And that means crouch down in that position, bend those knees, get in that, pushing forward towards the target. But you want to win the fight. I see a lot of people at the range. They're real cool about how they're shooting. And although it looks great, and look at my groups. Wow, dude, that's pretty nice. It's not combat shooting. So you want to get in the fight. Level 4 is the holster. You're learning your holster. Is it double retention, triple retention? That's important. A lot of people inside the waistband versus outside the waistband, versus your own physical body. Some people are a lot larger, and inside the waistband is a challenge. And so the type of holster you have, it has to work for you. Make sure if you have problems with it, you're going to have to change to, let's say, inside the waistband is not working for you. Or it's at the 3 o'clock, or appendix carry. Whatever, but it's not working, then you have to start learning the holster, learning your body, and learning where it would work the best and what holster works the best. Level 5, all levels without losing focus. You start throwing everything all in one mix, staying focused to a drill that is smooth. Okay? So you're going to carry it all out, right? Pull the shirt up, nice grip on the weapon, to remove it from the holster as fast as possible, present the weapon, punch out, make sure your elbows are locked in place, weapons up at eye level. You're doing all those things in this drill that you're doing. And the most important part is to drill again and again and again. How long? For some people, you could do one of these drills 5 minutes every day, or you can do it once a week. Now, if you're going to do it once a year, that's not, something is better than nothing, but that's not really proactive training. So remember, this simple drill of save, clear, empty, and holster is something you can do without going to the range. Not a lot of money, right? And repetition is a safety blanket for you. Say that again. Repetition is a safety blanket for you. You know, when I was in the academy as an instructor, and I was going through police firearms training, we did a lot of stovepipe and failure to feed drills. And I'm talking in the hundreds of thousands of them. It was sickening. You know, you do the drill over and over and over and over again. And as a student, you kind of say, "Okay, dude, I got the concept. Can we move on to something else?" But that basic training of doing it over and over and over again, the fruits of that is when you become an instructor and you're on the line and your students have a failure to feed and they are looking at their gun and they're saying, I don't know what's wrong. And the muzzle's about to turn around and face you, because that's sometimes, unfortunately, some of our students do. You're going to react quick and you can clear that and give it right back to them. Of course, the concept is to teach them, but you're going to do it effortlessly. Why? Because you drilled so many times, it's embedded in your psyche, and that's important. So I want everybody to keep in mind, your training session is your training session. Do it haphazardly, well, you get what you did. What you do in training, you'll do in real life. You don't take it serious, then when that firefight breaks out, you're going to wish you did. So it's important to have yourself in the game, because without you, we have nothing. Remember, that's one of the things we always say in all our podcasts. We're going to follow up this episode, number 333, with a small video production. It'll be less than 5 minutes, in demonstrating what I was talking about so you can see visually. You can create your own setup, whatever works for you. Again, to recap, the first thing I highly recommend is that you use the holsters that work for you. Break up your holsters, which ones are for summer, which ones are for winter, and so forth. Where do you position the gun? Wherever you have that weapon, let's say it's at the 3 o'clock, it's at the 3 o'clock. It's always at the 3 o'clock. Is it at 4? No. Is it at 2? It's at 3. Is it appendix? No, it's 3. Don't change what you're doing, because if you start becoming fashion orientated, hey, I don't like it, I'm going to put an appendix today. I'm going to put it in my ankle. When the caca goes down, you're going to forget where it is. Repetition, repetition, repetition is the name of the game. Practice makes perfect, but only when you have the mindset to survive the fight. So getting in the fight is very important. Don't do drills like you're bored. Don't do drills like you're bored. Because if somebody shoots at you, you're not going to shoot back like you're bored. Get in the fight so you can survive the fight. So that's my recommendation. Now it's up to you to carry it out. Up next for us, and as you know, a lot of us were expecting first shots with M&amp. And we were going to come out on the show, but because of some technical issues that I was having with the original program, that would have been episode 333, and M&amp's scheduling, we've had to push that back. So that's up next, episode 334, first shots with M&amp. And we are going to dive into her experience for the first time shooting a 9mm carbine. And I told you we went out shooting out in the outdoor range not too long ago, and M&amp pushed me out of the way, grabbed about 300 to 400 rounds, and just blasted away. Smile was from ear to ear, and I just stood there. Everyone, I think I got, a good 20 rounds off with the carbine till it was removed from my hands and back in its lawful owner's hands, M&amp. So she'll be on, that episode is February 5th, episode 334. And catch that. And we got, a lot of good shows coming up after that one. Is the subcompact automatic shotgun. We're going to talk about that. Something called the lean process in firearms. We'll talk about that. The wish list. Every gun owner has a wish list. But we're going to talk about let's say you want the most expensive gun out there. Is that your carry gun? Come on, dude. Let's be real. So we're going to do that. The wish list. That's an episode coming up in March. Another one is leave the mag, take the block. Something that is very important. I don't know. For some reason, a lot of guys watch these YouTube videos of gun reviewers that some are very, very good. But they buy a gun and all of a sudden they start screwing around with it. I don't get it. And another weapon that I recently purchased, the CZ-P10S. We're going to give it a little bit of review and maybe compare it a little bit to other weapons. I mean, by no means am I saying that's the weapon for you, but keep it in mind, hey, if it works, buddy. And for me, it works. And we're going to have a lot more episodes in firearms, probably up until May or so. Then we're going to move that over to self-protection. And self-protection is self-awareness. Maybe you carry a knife. How do you use a knife? Tactical baton, whatever it is that you want to learn. But we're gonna cover an array of things. Try to help you out as best we can. So keep that in mind, that those are our upcoming shows. If you want your gun fixed, I'm going to tell you about the best gunsmith in the nation. And his name is Pistol Pete the Gunsmith. He's down in Miami, and he is fabulous. Pistol Pete was the gunsmith to over 5,000 officers in Miami-Dade. And boy, I trusted him with my life. So if you're looking for a better trigger, stippling job, new barrel, different sights, you want to go optic, whatever is you're looking for, Pistol Pete the Gunsmith down in Miami. And if you don't live in Miami, give Pistol Pete a call and he'll show you how legally and safely you can send your weapon to him with your specifications, and he'll make that thing look brand new. You won't even recognize it when you get it. One thing you will always remember, that if Pistol Pete the Gunsmith touched your gun, it will go bang because he's that good. His information is down in the show notes. Pistol Pete the Gunsmith. Look him up. And his information, like I said, is down in the show notes. Also, if you're in the New Jersey area and you're looking to become certified in carrying concealed, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, the state of New Jersey has woken up to carrying. And what, a lot of other states have done it for like 40, 50 years. New Jersey just caught in, and we're happy that they're awake and paying attention to the rest of the nation. So if you are looking for good training, my friend Karis, Kilo Sierra up in New Jersey, give him a buzz. His information is Spipulveda, SEPULVETA Inc. And he's up in New Jersey. His information is also down on the bottom of the show notes. If you want to learn any type of shooting, over 20 years experience in firearms. And if you are in the South Florida area and you're looking for a good gun training, AAA, that's AAA Gun Safety with Amalo down in South Florida, give him a call. His website is AAAgunsafety.com, AAAgunsafety.com. And if you're looking for some wellness and you want to push yourself because you're feeling a little down and out, well, look up Oasis Creations LV.net. Oasis Creations LV.net with Yolita. And, everybody needs a good spiritual awakening every once in a while, so we fully encourage that. So I'm glad that you have been with us on this podcast. We have a lot of training that we're going to be doing, you and I. Hopefully, you'll stick with us. And when I was an instructor, I used to tell all my cadets and my students, you can never go to a class and say it sucked. You can always pick up something out of training and put it in your tool chest, because one day you'll really use it. So keep that in mind. You have to have an open mind to training. It goes a long way. As always, it is my pleasure to be your host on Radar Cop Podcast. Continue to pray for yourself, because without you, we have nothing. Continue to pray for your community, the law enforcement agencies that serve you. And most importantly, and now more than ever, continue to pray for our president, Donald J. Trump, the 47th president of the United States. And continue to pray for our great country, the United States of America. This is Alpha Mike, and I'll see you downrange.
232, sorry, 1322.